I caught my wife cheating, and I destroyed her lover's marriage in the process. Right now, I'm completely lost. I don't know what to do. There were signs, sure, but I ignored them. I was blinded by love. I never imagined something like this could happen to me, especially not with her. My wife, my best friend for nearly 20 years. I work in another city and wasn't supposed to come home until tonight. Tomorrow we were planning a short weekend getaway. Things were quiet at work, so I decided to surprise her and came home yesterday afternoon. That trip was supposed to be our chance to reconnect. The summer had been packed, family visits, events with friends. We barely had time for each other. I wanted to change that. But when I pulled up to our house, I saw a truck in the driveway I didn't recognize. A few days earlier, our neighbor casually asked how I liked my new truck. I thought he'd made a mistake, didn't think much of it. But now, seeing that truck parked there, something twisted in my gut. A terrible feeling washed over me. Still, I trusted her. I loved her with everything I had, but I couldn't shake the unease. I crept up to the window of our bedroom. It was slightly open, and I heard them. As I moved closer and looked inside, my worst fear was confirmed. They were there, both of them, completely naked, on my bed. I turned and walked away. Every cell in my body wanted to lash out, but I held myself back. I didn't want to do something I'd regret for the rest of my life. I drove to our family cabin and drank all night, everything I could find. The next day, I tried to go back home to confront her, but I turned around. I wasn't ready. All I could feel was rage. All I could think about was violence. I knew I wasn't in the right state of mind to face her. So I went back to the cabin. I had a bottle of rum, and I sat with it for an hour, just staring. I wanted to drink until I forgot everything, but I was afraid I'd do something stupid. I knew this was a turning point in my life, that whatever I chose to do in the next few days would define everything that came after. That's why I'm writing this. I need help. I'm not ready to talk to my family or my friends, so I'm turning to strangers on the internet. The amount of support and advice I received after sharing my story was overwhelming, in the best way possible. To be honest, it brought me to tears knowing that so many strangers out there cared enough to reach out. It gave me a glimmer of hope at a time when I needed it most. But with all the support came hundreds of messages I couldn't keep up with. So, first off, thank you. Truly. Every kind word, every thoughtful message meant the world to me. A lot of people asked for more details, things I'd left out or glossed over. So let me explain a few things and then I'll share an update. First, we don't have kids. We were planning to start trying soon. Second, we just sold our house and we're about to move closer to my work. The new owners haven't moved in yet. And third, I owe my neighbor a huge thank you. He tried to warn me in the most subtle, respectful way he could. As for the signs, I ignored. There were late-night texts, not normal for her. She started going out with friends after work, more often than usual. I thought it was healthy, that she was just becoming more social. She said she had weekly yoga classes, but later I found out she didn't pay for them. One of the instructors was her coworker. She helped with cleaning and organizing instead of paying. Odd, considering she never seemed very flexible. And then there were the calls from unknown numbers. Normally, we'd answer each other's phones if one was closer, but every time I picked up one of those calls, it disconnected. Just silence. Not spam, not a robocall, just
hung up. Then my brother came to visit. We had a long, serious talk. He's always been my real best friend. He reminded me that no matter what, he's here for me. No judgment, no pressure. Just like I've always been there for him. That's when I made a decision. I messaged my wife. I told her I had to make a last-minute work trip to a remote site and wouldn't be reachable all weekend. It was believable. My jobs sometimes make that happen. She knows the drill. I told her I had canceled our reservation for the weekend, but I'd rebook it later. She replied saying maybe she could still go to the same romantic vineyard hotel with her best friend. But I knew she didn't mean the friend I was supposed to believe she meant. I told her that the reservation had been non-refundable, so I'd already passed it along to my brother and his wife, that they'd pay me back later. That morning, I canceled everything except the suite. My brother and I took the trip together. Luckily, the hotel let us swap the honeymoon suite for a double. There was a lake nearby, boat rentals. It felt like the universe giving us something we didn't even know we needed. Time to breathe. I didn't have to see her, didn't have to talk to her. I had space to think. Right now, I'm leaning toward divorce. I just can't see a way back from this. My brother supports me, but he suggested I wait a few weeks, cool off, talk to someone. His wife knows a family therapist named Sharon. She offered to meet with me Monday. I don't think it'll change my mind, but maybe it'll help me clear my head. I also started consulting with lawyers, just in case. I want to be smart about this. I never thought she'd be the type to lie, but now I can't afford to trust blindly again.
The past few days have been intense. Let me start with the lighter stuff. My brother Matt and I drove nearly 5 hours to the Vineyard Hotel. I can't tell you how much it meant to have him there. It turned into one of those deep, soul-cleansing talks, the kind that clears your head whether you want it to or not. After listening to me vent the entire drive, Matt wanted to grab dinner. I wasn't up for going out, so I stayed in the room while he brought food back. The next morning, he even managed to rent us a boat for a little fishing. The hotel staff, who thought we were on a romantic package, were kind enough to repurpose it. They packed us a cooler with food and drinks, and off we went. We didn't catch much, just a couple of trout we had to throw back. But it didn't matter. We had snacks, good weather, and peace. That afternoon, we visited local wineries and farm stands, picking up bottles of wine and food for Matt's wife, Jen. Later that evening, we bought the biggest tomahawk steak we could find and grilled it up like kings. By Sunday night, we headed back to Matt's place. He lives just over an hour from my home. When we arrived, Jen was waiting with chilled white wine. That's when she dropped the real bombshell. While we were gone, she'd been keeping an eye on my wife. She told me that guy, had stayed the night at our house on Friday, all night. And on Saturday morning, Jen caught him leaving. She followed him back to his apartment. Now she knew where he lived. My wife spent Saturday night at his place. That was the same time she was texting me love notes, saying how much she missed me. Jen had split her weekend, half visiting family, half playing detective. She even caught my wife and this guy Sunday morning kissing outside his building before she got in her car. She took pictures, said she had proof if I needed it. I told her I didn't want to see them. I already knew too much. That was it, the final straw. I knew I could never trust my wife again. She told me she loved me, that she missed me, that she wanted to fix things, while she was still sleeping in his bed. But even then, I didn't want to do anything impulsive. I knew I had to stay calm. Jen told me Sharon, the therapist, was coming over for dinner. She'd never met my wife, and this would be our first time talking. Sharon turned out to be a warm, grounded person. After dinner, we went for a walk with the dogs, just the two of us. She listened, like really listened. And for the first time in a while, I didn't feel like I had to defend myself. I didn't feel judged. She told me one thing that stuck. The longer you wait to talk to her, the harder it'll be. You need clarity, and right now, she's the only one who can give it to you. Later that night, Jen and Matt offered to let me stay with them as long as I needed, but that had an expiration date. So I spoke to my boss. He managed to arrange a temporary apartment for me through work. Same place I used to crash during the week, but now I could stay full-time if needed. I also scheduled another session with Sharon. That first walk had helped more than I expected.
Sunday night, I lay in bed just staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out how to approach the conversation I knew I had to have. Even just imagining the talk made my chest tighten with rage, sadness, humiliation. It felt like I was prepping for a war I didn't want to fight. I decided not to script anything. Just go with my gut. That's when I usually do best, when the pressure's on. Monday morning, I said goodbye to Matt and Jen and drove toward my house. The whole ride, one question repeated in my head. What if he's still there? Just the thought of it put me right back into that dark place from a few days earlier. So I drove past the house first. No truck, no sign of her car either. I circled back, parked, went inside, and packed up the few things I couldn't stand to leave behind. Family photos, some heirlooms, a few personal items. Then I drove to his place. His truck was there, her car wasn't. I texted her, "Where are you?" She replied, "At the store, getting groceries." I didn't believe her. My trust was completely gone. So I drove past the store. There she was, walking out with a cart. It made me sick to admit how far my trust had fallen, but I needed to see the truth for myself. I texted again, "Come home, we need to talk." She replied, "What's going on?" I said, "Just be ready to have a real, honest conversation." Then I turned my phone off. She got home about 15 minutes later. As soon as she walked in, she came up to hug and kiss me, like nothing was wrong. I turned away. She looked confused. "What's going on?" I said, "You need to start being honest with me." She paused. Then gave me that wide-eyed, innocent look and said, "I don't know what you're talking about." I kept calm. "If you can't be honest, I'm leaving." She panicked. Wait. This is about yoga, isn't it?" That caught me off guard. I asked what she meant, and she admitted she hadn't been going to yoga at all. I asked, "Then where have you been going?" She said, "On walks, to clear my head. I've just been so stressed lately." Why lie about that? Why not just tell me? Because I didn't want to add my stress to yours. But I'm not stressed. I think you're still lying. I think this is more than yoga. She looked down. I don't know what else to say. Then I'm done. I got up to leave. Usually, when we fought, I'd go for a drive to cool off. She probably thought this was one of those times. But she saw me grab my clothes, my toiletries, even my Xbox. That's when it hit her. I wasn't coming back. She started calling me over and over again.
I finally answered after the 40th call. She asked, "Did you talk to Karen?" Her best friend. I asked why she was asking that. She said, "Come home, I don't want to talk about this on the phone." So, I drove around for a bit, let my heart rate slow, and eventually came back. When I walked in, she didn't wait. She was crying, already trembling. She said, "I'm sorry, I lied about that guy. The one who tried to kiss me." "Okay, tell me what actually happened." She said 4 of them had gone back to his place after a night out. They were just goofing around. But I knew better. Even hearing her say it made the room spin. I felt dizzy, like my brain couldn't catch up. I think I had a panic attack. I splashed cold water on my face in the bathroom. When I came back, I said, "Tell me the truth, all of it, now." She hesitated, then quietly said, "He touched me, and I gave him oral." "Is that everything?" She broke down again. Another pause. Then we met again and had sex. "I'm sorry. I love you. I'll do anything to fix this. Please, just tell me what to do." I stared at her and said, "If you were his wife, would you want to know?" She said yes. "Then fix it."
I told her, if you really mean it, if you really want to fix this, you'll tell his wife. She hesitated. Do you want me to call her right now? If you were in her shoes, wouldn't you want to know? She picked up her phone and tried to call. No answer. A few minutes later, her phone rang back. The caller ID said, "Karen from work." But the look on her face told me everything. It wasn't Karen. It was him. I asked, "Is that him?" She nodded. I took the phone. "Hello?" A nervous voice stuttered. Sorry, I think I have the wrong number." "No, you don't. I'm the husband of the woman you've been sleeping with." There was silence. I continued. "She has something she needs to say to you." I handed her the phone. She took a breath and said, "It's over. He knows everything. It was just a fling, and now it's done. Never contact me again." Then I took the phone back and said, "Before you hang up, one question. What divorce attorney are you hiring?" "What?" "You told my wife you're divorcing yours. That true?" He went quiet. "No, I didn't tell her that." "Good. Then I assume your wife doesn't know yet. Would you like me to tell her?" "Please, man, don't do this. I didn't mean to ruin anything." "Too late. You already ruined my marriage. Now let's see how you like it." He begged me not to. Said his wife was at work and he'd tell her when she got home. I told him he'd better. Then I hung up. I asked my wife if she knew where his wife worked. She did. She even knew her name. I told her to call the office and ask to speak with her. She got through. The woman said she was just about to leave and would call back from her car. 10 minutes later, her phone rang again. My wife answered. "Hi, this is going to be hard to hear, but I need to tell you the truth before you get behind the wheel." The woman replied, "Oh God, is he okay?" "Yes, he's fine, but we've been having an affair for the past month. My husband knows, and I thought you deserved to know too." There was silence. Then the woman said, "If this is some sick joke, I will find out who you are," and hung up. 10 minutes after that, my wife got a text from Karen from work. "Thanks. You just ruined my life." I grabbed the phone and texted back, "You ruined 4 lives and 2 marriages. Don't forget this is your fault." The next hour was a mess. My wife was sobbing, begging me to stay, offering to go to counseling, offering intimacy, offering anything, saying we needed to take that vacation, her treat, that we needed quality time. All of it, exactly what I expected because of all your comments. You warned me. I told her I already went on the trip with my brother. I told her I already started therapy, alone. I told her I already caught her in our bed. And then she broke. She collapsed on the floor, crying so hard she couldn't breathe. She sobbed, "I don't deserve to live. You should kill me. I'm disgusting. No one should love me." She begged, pleaded, crawled toward me, trying to hug me, touch me, do anything to get me to stay. I sat there for 4 hours listening to her excuses, her self-pity, her promises. Eventually, I called Karen. I told her, "Your friend is in a really bad place. Someone should come be with her." And then I left.
It's been almost a month. I haven't spoken to her since I left that night. She's been calling, texting, constantly. So have her friends, her family, each one with their own argument, their own plea for sympathy. Except one, her father. He sent me a message that simply said, "Do what's best for you. No matter what happens, I'll always love you like a son." That broke me. It was the first time since everything happened that I really cried. Not out of rage, not from betrayal, just grief. Tomorrow, I have another session with Sharon, my therapist. Thursday, I meet with the divorce attorney. I think I know where this is heading, but until it's done, I can't be sure. I'm sorry this story is so long, but writing it, letting it all out, has helped more than I imagined. So to all of you who listened, who shared your own stories, who gave me advice or just showed me I wasn't alone, thank you. From the bottom of my heart. You gave me strength when I had none. And hope. Real, honest hope for whatever tomorrow brings.